Hello everyone, my name is James Nielsen, Supervisor of Special Education with Upper Darby School District. My focus is at Upper Darby High School. The Upper Darby School District holds an annual in-person transition night for students and families to learn about post-secondary supports, opportunities, and organizations. Historically, this night also provides an opportunity for students and families to meet these organizations and ask questions. Just like so many things this year, we had to adapt to the changing environment due to the pandemic. Upper Darby's transition night will be recorded and distributed to families of students of transition age, 14 or over, who are receiving special education services. Our presenters are Katie Mertens, school counselor at Upper Darby High School. She will be discussing college planning timelines. Susan Oakley, Assistant Director of Dual Enrollment and High School Initiatives at the Delaware County Community College. She will be speaking about dual enrollment and high school initiatives. Ann Binder is the Director of Disabilities at Delaware County Community College. She will be speaking about accommodations at the college level. Sherry Parkinson is the lead teacher at the Delaware County Intermediate Unit. She will be discussing tonight the Delaware County Intermediate Unit's Options Program and Transition Services. Jean Wygo is an Employment Liaison Specialist with the Delaware County Intermediate Unit. She will be speaking about pre-employment through the OVR process. Sylvia Sipin and Amanda Hudley are with the ARC Alliance. They will be discussing the supports that are provided through their organization. Craig Anderson is a Job Resource Coordinator with the Goodwill Industries of Delaware and Delaware County. He will be discussing the Step Up program and Job Resource Center. Jennifer Jones is a Special Education Coordinator with Upper Darby School District. She will be discussing the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, or OVR, and the supports they provide. I will begin the presentation with an overview of the Upper Darby School District's transition process. We're going to get started with what is transition. Transition is planning for what occurs after graduation. The process involves assessments, surveys, goals, services, and activities. The goals include post-secondary education and training goals, employment goals, and independent living goals. In regards to post-secondary education goals, we're looking for students to be able to learn about educational opportunities after graduation from high school, such as colleges and trade schools. We want to make sure that students have their career goals aligned with their educational and training goals. We also, as an IEP team, would like to connect students and families with agencies to help them continue their education before graduation from high school. Before graduation from high school, the IEP team will also be helping students apply for programs, colleges, trade schools, agencies like the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. We would also have students attend college fairs. All of these activities help guide the IEP team and guide the students' decision-making process to make sure that that they're set up for success after graduation. We want to make sure that throughout this whole process that students are learning self-advocacy skills so that they become the captain of what they need after graduation from high school, and that they can reach out for supports as needed moving forward. The second goal would be the employment goal. When thinking about employment, we want to help our students explore and learn about careers. This starts around 7th grade in our school district, and as we move up, we hope as an IEP team that we can focus students into a more focused approach of what careers they're looking at. Learning about and getting services and supports to help them succeed at work. We want to make sure students have the skill sets required to be successful employees and so that they can continue to grow in a career. Some of those skills may include managing time and schedules. Those type of skills are developed each and every day during school. We want to make sure we're helping students identify their career goals and steps needed to get that job. For transition, it's very important to start with an end goal in mind so that you can put those building blocks in place to support students along the way. Another key component to employment is making sure that we're helping build social skills to improve students' interpersonal relationship with colleagues at work. The next area that we address as an IEP team is independent living. Independent living is for students to learn how to live independently in a community. It can address a multitude of different areas, whether it's being an active member in a community, getting involved in fun activities, taking care of yourself, managing health, transportation, cooking, cleaning, safety, living in a community on your own with roommates, family, or on your own. As an IEP team, we would make sure that supports are in place prior to graduation and that there's a plan in place for after graduation to account for what a student's independent living goal is after that. We talked about all these different goals: employment, secondary training, and independent living. Who are the team members and what are their responsibilities for ensuring this happens? The team members are the IEP team, any relevant member that the LEA, the school district, or the family member would like to have at the meeting. The responsibilities for those members are to provide honest feedback, provide encouragement for a student to make decisions and solve problems and have their own voice. After graduation from high school, the IEP team is gone, and it's up to the student, the family, and the supports put in place by the IEP team to provide that support after graduation. We want to continue to help the student continue to learn about themselves, learn about their strengths, their areas of need, their interests, what their desires are after high school. We want to make sure that we provide opportunities for students to explore, to question, and to investigate. If they have a desire to become a business major, we want to make sure that we explore all the avenues and the requirements and the end outcome and the opportunities to gain employment after obtaining that degree. So throughout the IEP, there are three sections of present levels. Present levels of academics, present levels of functional performance, and present levels of transition. The present levels of transition focus on taking a snapshot every year using assessments, surveys, and questionnaires on the student's interest, preference, skills, so that the IEP team can continue to program appropriately in reference to transition. The team would synthesize the results with a discussion of post-secondary schooling, training, employment, and independent living. And we would also have discussions as an IEP team about outside agency involvement. This conversation gets more important as we go up into our high school years. When looking at an IEP, after the present levels of transition, there's a transition service grid. This grid outlines the goals related to post-secondary training, employment, and independent living. These goals can potentially change each year during the IEP. As we get older in our grades, we want to ensure that these goals become more and more focused. These goals pull from the assessments and surveys and questionnaires that are provided during that IEP year and outlined in the transition section. Again, we start broad in this early on. Around 7th grade, we start very broad, investigating post-secondary schooling, things of that nature. And hopefully, we're able to focus that as we get up into the upper grades. Services are addressed in here to help students meet those goals. Services are identified based off of a student's need. Needs are pulled from the evaluation report. If a student has a learning disability in math, they most likely have a need in mathematics, whether it's computation, problem solving. There would be a service to help students address that area of need. Activities are activities that are provided to help bridge the gap towards that goal. It provides opportunities to explore, research, and enhance the understanding. So if a student has a goal to go to a college after graduating from high school, then an activity could be attending a college fair or going on a college tour. These are just some examples. Our final slide is a resource that is very rich in information, and I would not venture to explain it all today, but if you select this link here, it takes you to the Pennsylvania Secondary Transition Guide. It's very rich in information. As you scroll down, it sections off, it highlights areas of topic areas. One being agencies and support, another being employment, post-secondary education and training, and then it speaks about a bunch of independent living activities, whether it's health, financial, fundamentals, and self-determination. These outline the areas that were discussed tonight. This would be a great resource for families to sit down prior to an IEP meeting of a student with transition needs and do a little background research. The IEP teams also have access to this as well, and we'll be referencing it. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and remember, if you have any questions, please reach out to your case managers, as they are here to assist and help families through this process. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Katie Mertens, and I'm a school counselor for the class of 2023 at Upper Darby High School. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about post-secondary planning, and specifically, I'm going to focus this evening on the college process. And there is a reason why I chose this picture. And typically, if I was in an auditorium, I'd ask you to raise your hand and tell me who feels like when they think about the college process or post-secondary planning that they're looking into this great unknown expanse. And if you're feeling a little bit foggy about the transition process, that's okay. I'm hoping that tonight I can answer some of your questions. And then if you need any additional assistance or have additional questions, there are resources that you can follow up with the team from this evening. So transitioning to college, there are three major takeaways that I like to go over with my students. So the first piece is the importance of communication. So our Upper Darby family here, right, our case manager, school counselor, communicating with the college, and then the student and the parent and guardian, right? We are all on your team to help you have a smooth transition. The next major key is to be proactive, right? To gather those materials before you need them, to start thinking about what it is that you need to transition to that next step. And then the third key is to stay organized, right? This college application process is when deadlines become very, very important, right? There really are not many soft deadlines in the college application process, right? Most of those deadlines are hard deadlines. So starting to pay attention to those deadlines is a really good skill that students can be working on right now. I know we have some folks from Delaware County Community College here with us tonight. So I'm going to let them speak mostly about Delaware County. However, I always like to note, if you haven't gone to Delaware County or visited in the last 5 to 8 years, it would be a really great visit once COVID is over to go and check that out because they're doing some amazing things over there. So I'm going to go over a little bit of a post-secondary planning timeline starting in freshman year of high school, right? Because there are some things that our freshmen can be doing this year to start getting ready. So For freshman through junior year, the most important items are on this slide, right? So we're going to encourage our students to take challenging but realistic courses, right? We want to see you stretch a little bit, but I don't want our students to feel overwhelmed, right? So speak with your counselor if you have questions about courses that might be a good fit for you. Focus on your grades, right? So making sure that you're turning in your homework, you're doing those projects, studying for tests and quizzes. In your freshman and sophomore year, especially exploring those extracurricular activities. We have over 30 clubs here at Upper Darby High School. There's many ways to get involved and explore some different extracurricular activities, and you may find your career in one of those extracurricular activities. Another key item is really starting to communicate with that team, right? The counselor, case manager, parents, and teachers. At Upper Darby, we are lucky that we have a college and career counselor. Her name is Ms. Emily Catlett. She is such an exciting person, and she is a wonderful resource for our students and parents to learn more about the post-secondary exploration process, and she can meet with students starting in freshman year. We also use Naviance here at the high school. So completing those activities in Naviance, and as part of your students' transition plan, they will be completing different inventories and assessments to help them learn a little bit about what careers might dovetail with their interests, values, and skills. We also are encouraging our students to work on their resume, and your counselor can help you kind of create a resume that will stand out as, a 15, 16-year-old student. The last thing that we want to talk about is securing accommodations for SAT or ACT testing. There is an approval process for students to secure accommodations such as extended time or small group for the SAT or ACT, and this must be done through the College Board or the ACT Corporation. So starting in your freshman year, you can speak with your counselor, your school counselor, about getting those accommodations approved by the College Board. And one of the good things about those accommodations is that once you are approved, you do not need to go through the approval process again unless something changes. So once you're approved initially, you're approved for your high school career. So definitely something you want to get started in freshman or sophomore year. Now we're focusing on junior year, right? In junior year, your first semester, students should take the PSAT. We offer the PSAT here at Upper Darby free of charge, and that is the practice SAT, the college entrance exam. So it's a really great way for students to learn about their baseline performance and make a plan for how to improve when we get to the real deal SAT. Again, I have this in here twice, and it's because it's really important to secure accommodations for the SAT or ACT testing, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing that so that you as the student are receiving appropriate accommodations and can do your best work on those high stakes exams. We also want to learn more about colleges and career programs. Naviance is the way that we do that here at the high school. We use a tool called the College Supermatch. We have college search tools. So something for everybody on Naviance. Make sure that you are logging in and participating in classroom guidance activities. We also offer a college and career fair at Upper Darby High School. In the 2020-2021 school year, this will be offered virtually, and more information will be coming soon. We also offer college visits from individual colleges. So we have over 80 college visits per year, where students can sit down with an individual admissions rep from each college to learn a little bit more about the college and what the admissions requirements are. And then, if possible, we encourage all of our students to visit college campuses, technical schools, talk to trade unions. We realize that with the COVID-19 pandemic, physically traveling to each college may be difficult. However, many colleges and universities are offering enhanced virtual visits at this time. So if you check out a college website and look at their admissions tab, they may have some extra virtual opportunities for you to explore that college. In your second semester of junior year, you should be considering taking the SAT or the ACT. and beginning to develop your list of target colleges or career programs. Okay. So we're going to want to organize the colleges that we're interested in applying to by target, likely, and reach. A target school is where you know that your SAT scores and your GPA is going to make you a very likely contender to be admitted. A likely school, right, is, you know what, I'm pretty good. I think I'll get in. Maybe I need to get a really good recommendation from a teacher. And then a reach school is that dream school, right? We know that, everybody has a dream school. And if we, are applying to that school, it may be challenging to get in. That school may be selective, but we want to include that on our list as well. So spring and summer of your junior year, if possible, visit the colleges on your college list. It's important to get on campus because there's that intangible X factor of being on a campus and realizing like, ooh, this is my home for 4 years. And that's a little bit difficult to get if you aren't able to get on campus. So if at all possible, try to get on campus if you can. This one's a big one, guys. Get your deadlines organized. Find the way that you are going to keep yourself organized in the college application process. Some people might use a planner, a physical paper and pencil list. Other people might use a phone. Other people might use Google Calendar. Find a method and put those deadlines in that organizational method, okay? You can also begin drafting your college application essays at this time. Your counselor or your English teacher can help you with that. And you want to identify potential teachers to provide letters of recommendation. And this is a big one. Always give your recommenders about 3 weeks notice. It allows them to write the best letter about you. And it means that, they're able to take the time so that they're not feeling like they are behind the 8 ball and writing something maybe that isn't as representative of you. And always thank your recommenders. And I know that you guys would do that, but I always just like to reinforce it. Senior year, your first semester, you're going to revise your application essays or your resume. You're going to gather your application materials, right? Making sure that you have everything you need. You can start your applications, and some students use the common application or other students use the college's website individually. You can speak with your counselor to see what would be most appropriate for you. You are going to request transcripts on Naviance. Notice I've said Naviance a lot in this presentation, so we want to make sure we're familiar with logging in so that you can go ahead and request transcripts when it's time to do that in your senior year, and it's going to be nice and easy. You're also able to send your SAT scores to your colleges on collegeboard.org. And then we have the financial aid information as well. So filling out and submitting the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, after October 1st. And then senior year, your second semester, we are preparing for that transition. Okay. This is when you are working on your financial aid and scholarship searches, and when you're starting to communicate with that disability services office at your college. Okay. And this is the time when you would be submitting any IEP or 504 documentation that your college asks for. All right. So that's a brief overview. I know that there's probably so many small elements underneath those bullet points, but that's kind of an overview of what to expect within the college application timeline. Accommodations at the college level. So it's important to have accommodations in place before you need them, right? And Ms. Binder, the Director of Disability Services at Delaware County Community College, is here for this presentation, and I'm sure she'll be covering this a little bit more in depth. But the accommodations, applying for accommodations at the college level may require documentation from high school, right? Your IEP or 504 from high school may be looked at, and accommodations are at the discretion of the college, okay? And Ms. Binder's gonna go into more detail about that, but just something to keep in mind. And then before you graduate, right? Before you walk down the aisle in that beautiful purple cap and gown and everyone's crying and we're all so happy, make sure that you have a copy of your most recent IEP or 504 plan before you graduate, okay? You may also need an evaluation from a doctor or psychologist, depending on the nature of your disability. And you can speak with your case manager or school counselor to determine if you need any updated evaluations or paperwork. And then just making sure that you communicate with the staff of the Disability Services Office of the college that you are planning to attend. So at this time, that concludes my presentation. If you have questions or need any additional resources, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sue Oakley. I work in the dual enrollment office at Delaware County Community College. It's so nice to be here today with you. What is dual enrollment? That word dual meaning two. It's the opportunity for high school students in both Delaware and Chester County, and of course, my beloved Upper Darby students, to take college classes while you're in high school. You might say, what are the benefits of that? As a high school student, either in the summer or during the course of the school year, you'll have the opportunity to take college credits that are going to start earning you credits towards your college degree. That degree may be an associate's degree with us at Delaware County, and you'll watch those credits accrue on your Delaware County student portal. Another benefit is you can save time and money. So there's an extremely discounted rate for our dual enrollment students at Upper Darby High School. And then another benefit is you're also gaining the experience of being a college student. We want you to fully embrace and enjoy your high school time, but this is an added benefit. And if you're up for the challenge, it is definitely something that you could take advantage of in your high school years. We have a great number of Upper Darby students currently as our dual enrollment students. We always have to talk about the process. It's relatively simple. There's an application, and you would go to our website and apply online. There is no cost to apply. The next step, we need to see your readiness. Are you ready for this challenge of taking a college class? So there are two ways to come in. You're going to provide us with standardized scores that you've already had. I know COVID wreaked havoc on a lot of standardized testing last year, but if you should have keystone scores from earlier in your, either at the end of middle school or into your early high school years, we would take proficient or advanced in a keystone, literature, or algebra. And as you can see, the PSAT scores, SAT, and ACT scores. Those are the required numbers that we need. Mrs. Oakley, I don't have any of those. Guess what? That's fine. You can move forward and you can schedule our version of the placement test, and it's called the AccuPlacer placement test. You'll be able to take some time, do practice questions, and for right now, due to COVID, you're going to be taking that test remotely from home. Within a day or two, I have your results and you and I can talk, and we're going to evaluate those test scores, and they're going to show us exactly where you're ready to get started, if you're ready to get started. If not, you can test again at a later time. There's no cost to retest, and there's no consequence in retesting. So we'll discuss that more in detail if you make an appointment with me, but that's a general overview of the process. We offer summer classes. Right now, they're mostly all online. We are starting to reintroduce some hybrid sections. For the most part, I think you could feel comfortable saying synchronous or asynchronous. You're probably familiar with those terms. They were foreign to me before COVID started, but those are the offerings that we have. There's a small orientation for Canvas. That's where your online classroom is held. I will share that with you. And I don't believe Upper Darby uses that platform, but it's very user-friendly. Right now, registration is open for our summer and fall sessions beginning late March, early April for our new students. If this is something that interests you, you're going to start the process by reaching out to me, and I'm going to guide you. I will basically be your advisor, and we're also going to be working with your Upper Darby High School advisors and counselors so that they're aware that you're going to take part in this. The tuition for our dual enrollment high school students is discounted at between 60 and 70% discount. Most college classes are 3 credits. So right now, this year, there's been a tuition freeze. For the past 2 years, it's $189 for a 3-credit class. That same class right now is anywhere from $576 to $606 for a student who has graduated. So you can basically take 3 college classes for the price of 1. I'll help you navigate all of those things: course selection, price, cost, as you reach out to me and discuss. We want to help you succeed. Ann Binder is going to speak to that from our Office of Disability Service. All resources that are offered at the college are yours as a dual enrollment student. You became a full-fledged Delaware County Community College student when you become a dual enrollment student. Those are some expectations. Much like your high school classes, we want you to be prepared. We want you to ask questions. We want you to use resources. We find some students who think they're not college ready, find out with all these supports and wonderful things that we have in place, you actually are, you can succeed as a college student. And it's a good pathway to get started early. My email is listed here. I'm open for questions. Parents, I do Zooms, I do emails, we do phone calls with students, families. However you want to proceed, please feel free to reach out to me. That's the rest of my team on the last slide, but I'll be your main contact. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Ann Binder, Director of Disability Services at Delaware County Community College. Delaware County really values its partnership with our sponsoring school district, Upper Darby High School. As you've heard tonight, Delaware County Community College is an excellent way to continue your education. We're affordable, flexible, accessible. We have 80 different programs for every type of learner. We have short advanced technology certificate programs for students who just want to get skills and get right to work. We have 40 career programs to do an associate degree, an internship, and go to work. And we have our transfer programs for students who want to continue their education at a university. The application is very simple. Students fill that out online. They need to put a major. You could certainly put liberal arts if you're undecided. Then the next step is to apply for financial aid and scholarships. Then students would be directed to do the online orientation. And then the placement test, as was mentioned in dual enrollment, we accept SAT, ACT scores, but not to worry. If you haven't taken those or didn't do well, you can take our placement test. You can certainly use the study app to get familiar with it. It's not timed, so you should have enough time to do your best work. So we encourage you to take that time. It could take 2.5 hours. So we want students to take that seriously because that's how you'll be placed. We don't want to place a student in a course that's too hard for them and they don't have the background for. But we don't want to waste a student's time taking a level of developmental reading, math, or English that they don't need. So again, take your time on that placement test. And then you'll meet with counselors to schedule your courses. The beauty of transitioning to the community college, especially if you've used high school support, such as an IEP or 504, is that you can go at your own pace. And make sure you have time to take advantage of all the support services in place, which are tremendous. And I'll go over in just a minute. During this process, you'll also submit your documentation to our office. And again, this is kind of similar whether you go to the community college or any four-year university. They're looking for current and comprehensive documentation that really identifies your disability and what kind of accommodations you're going to need. At that point, when you submit that, and I, like Katie reminded you to keep copies of all that important information, I review that and then we set up a meeting. Right now we can do that through Zoom or phone. And then we discuss what's the nature of your disability, what accommodations have you used in the past? And we will put that in place so that every semester you would request your accommodation letters be sent to your professors and again, continue to work with them. So this is kind of quick with our process. Carrie Arbutina kind of gets the ball rolling for you new students. Kelly Kiefer is my assistant director, and she does work with our students on our branch campuses, and she does work closely with Upper Darby High students at our Upper Darby, our new Southeast Center campus, when that does open. And again, at Ann Binder, continuing our presentation, this is our team, and this is our contact information. We look forward to working with you and supporting you. Again, as I mentioned, students submit the documentation, meet with our office, discuss the disability and the accommodations, and then it's the student's responsibility to request their accommodation letters be sent to their professors. And we encourage students to do that the first week of classes. Yes, some students are just getting around to it now, but accommodations aren't retroactive. So that does give us some concern, because it really is the student's responsibility to work with their instructors, make those arrangements, but importantly, to keep communicating and keep me in the loop if they have any concerns about, again, the accommodation process. We've talked a little bit about what is acceptable documentation, and we're looking for that psychoeducational evaluation. We all want the IEP and the reevaluation report, because that gives us a tremendous amount of information, your diagnostic testing in the reevaluation report, and your latest IEP, because that way we can look to see, again, and get a better understanding of those disability issues, those strengths and weaknesses, and how that might impact on your progress at the college. And certainly we review the 504 plans and talk to students about their unique situation. And also sometimes students are diagnosed later, and we accept information from their psychiatrist, neurologist, or medical doctor. So again, we're just really looking to get a good picture as you as a student, so we can see what you would be eligible for as a college student. Accommodations at the college level are designed to level the playing field. They do not alter the essential nature of the course requirement. There's no specially designed instruction. There's no modification of tests or expectations. Accommodations are given based on the individual's disability, their documentation, and their needs. Some of the typical accommodations at the college level would be extended time on test, time and a half on a test, and some students qualify for double time on test. Tests are due when they're scheduled by the professor. So again, it's so important to keep on top of deadlines and due dates. And back to testing. We do have testing centers on all of our campus, which will help reduce distractions. And we encourage students, again, who need that extended test time to make the arrangements and take tests in our testing centers. Of course, now that we're remote, students are taking tests at home, so it's not such an issue. There's assistive technology assistance. Some students need note-taking assistance or want to tape record lectures. Some students need alternative textbooks, but these are just a few of some of the accommodations that are most often used at the college level. I started my top 10 list on what it takes to be successful in college, but I do think it's important because these are all things that you can do now as a high school student. And I think it's critical because the moment you step foot on a college campus, you're considered an adult student. So all this responsibility is on your shoulders. And even as Sue Oakley would attest, even for a dual enrollment student, you're held to the same expectations. We're awarding college credit. So again, you're following the college level accommodation process. So even, what you had in high school won't be in effect. So that's why it's so important to get off to a good start, because your financial aid future could depend on it, and certainly your official transcript. So we want students to kind of start practicing these skills early, set realistic goals based on your personality, your academic strength, your interests. Certainly use your career resources in high school, but the college has a tremendous amount of career counseling support. So we don't expect you to know exactly what you want to do. We offer individual career counseling workshops, focus on your future, there are a lot of resources to help you set those career goals. Number 9 is assume responsibility for your education. No one else can make this happen. It's an exciting time. There's a lot of freedom and not much structure. So you've got tremendous decisions, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. You have to be the one to access all that information. Delegates our official communication portal. So you've got to, again, access grades, financial aid, make your bill payments. All of this comes to you as an adult student. It's up to you if you did want to share passwords with parents. But again, that responsibility is yours. Number 8, schedule for success. There's a lot of flexibility, as I mentioned, to go at your own pace. You might be working. So again, you might only want to take 1 or 2 courses to get started. If you're not a morning person, you shouldn't schedule an 8 o'clock class. So again, there's flexibility to schedule courses as to when you learn best. Attendance is critical, because if you miss class, miss instruction, there's no way to get that. So again, that's why we want to make sure that you are being very careful when you schedule your courses. My number 7 on my top 10 list is certainly to manage your time wisely. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with the amount of material and the fast-paced instruction in college. Students have to take control, make a schedule, use a planner. The formula is usually for every hour in class, you need to spend 3 hours outside of class to keep up with all the work. And again, the time management is critical, because there's no extensions for deadlines and due dates. But we do have a student success class, INT 100, that is very beneficial for students starting at the college. It will help make you aware of what some of these responsibilities are and how to develop tools so that it can be easier for you. It kind of goes hand in hand with number 6, use effective organizational skills. So start practicing now to organize all your course materials, your folders, your workspace at home, develop priority lists. Again, we have a lot of workshops to help students with study skills. Our tutoring in the Learning Commons offers study skills tutoring, time management, but those are, again, things that you have to work into your schedule. And that's going to be extremely important for your success. So again, we encourage students to start doing that now and being self-sufficient without any external motivation. Number 5, understand your disability. You really need to know what your strengths are so that you can absolutely develop things to help. And again, go with that. And again, you need to know, what your disability is, so that you will be able to know what kind of accommodations you're going to need. And that's your legal right. And you want to be able to communicate with our office. So again, it's important to understand your disability, talk to your IEP teams, your transition coordinators, get a good sense of your diagnostic testing, so that, again, that way you know what you have challenges with and what you might need to put into place to help you. Number 4, know your learning style. Again, we all have unique ways of processing information, and it's critical to know yours so you can develop ways and strategies to remember information. So know your learning style. Number 3 could probably be my number 1. It's going to be important as an adult student in college to be your own self-advocate. You have to be the one to be able to express your needs in an effective communication style, so instructors will want to work with you. And again, they'll probably go even above what's required. So I think practicing in the mirror, whatever you need to do to get more comfortable to, again, advocate for yourself and be able to reach out to the disabilities office if you're having any difficulty. We want to be there to help support you, but we won't know you're struggling unless you reach out to our office and let us know. We work with 600 students a semester. So once we go over all the support services that we'll mention in a minute and have everything in place, it's up to you to communicate with your professors, to coordinate your accommodations, to keep our office in the loop if you're having any challenges. It's just going to be very critical to your success. So again, I can't say that enough. And again, wherever you go to college, you need to use the support services available. We've got counselors that are on duty 8 in the morning till 8 at night. They do personal counseling, career counseling, transfer counseling, academic advising. They're always there to help students. They do a tremendous workshop series on, again, how to support students during COVID, how to handle stress and grief, different types of career workshops. So again, that's a great resource. I mentioned the tutoring center. We have a Learning Commons that has tutoring for almost every course that students can schedule appointments with tutors. Right now, they're doing face-to-face Zoom sessions. They do, again, content tutoring and study skills tutoring. We have an office of student success, first-year experiences. So again, there's a tremendous amount of support services available in addition to the fun things, campus life, activities, clubs, organizations. But again, utilize that, put that in your weekly schedule. But critically, use your accommodations. I'm thinking now, probably I'm saying a half to 3/4 students have contacted our office to send their accommodation letters to the professors, but I do worry about the students that haven't done that. We send newsletters to students 3 times a semester. We send reminder emails, but if students aren't checking their college email system, they're missing all that critical information. And that's what certainly has me worried. So again, we really want students to, again, use their accommodations, level that playing field so that you have the same opportunity for success as any student. And our office looks forward to working with you, answering questions, getting you started in our process, and again, basically supporting you through your time at DCCC. So again, we look forward to working with you. Best of luck as you make these future decisions. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry Parkinson. I am the lead teacher of the DCIU Options program. I'd like you to think back, and I'm speaking specifically to the adults in the crowd. I want you to think about the path that you took to get to where you are today. Did you go down the path of training, where you were just learning on the job of how to do specific tasks? Or did you go down the educational route? So again, we here at Options look at this as a multiple pathways to getting to the road of adult living. Options has been in place since 1985, and we've been providing transition services and developing programs to prepare secondary students with disabilities for their adult lives. Options is a person-centered service. We are an open entry exit program. We design our programs around students' individual interests, preferences, and needs, which are a catalyst for programming. And the overall intent is to assist individuals in accessing their community as independently as possible. The students that we serve here in Delaware County often have an IEP. A lot of times our focus is making sure that we're providing services to those students who qualify for an IEP. Students that have begun the transition planning process should start by participating in their IEPs and contributing to that transition plan because it is all about them. The IEP team has to identify the student's goals in the areas of post-secondary education, employment, and independent living. The DCIU Option Services is a continuum of services. We provide assessment services where we will conduct what we call vocational assessments, where we're looking at what types of careers that the individual might be interested in. And that is usually a computer-based assessment. Then we also provide what is called situational assessments, where we take students out into the community and we kind of have what we call like a work trial, where the individual is working on a job. And what we're looking to do is to find out what are they interested in, but also what kind of supports they need to be successful at a job. Our next spoke on the wheel is employability skills. This is a vocational training program where students participate in a day program where they are learning employment skills. We're teaching students how to get a job and how to keep a job. We focus on social skills, problem solving, initiation, and building relationships within the work world. The next bubble on our wheel is the Enhanced Employment Program. This is small business ventures where we provide transitional employment services where students are learning how to work on a paid position. Some examples are our Extra Thorough Cleaners program, the Thrift Shop on the Avenue, and also working with the Department of Human Services. Down below that is our Advanced Support Program at various different college campuses. We provide a 2-year support program where we are teaching individuals how to do some of those very essential skills that Ann talked about: time management, social skills, organizational skills, to help them access that collegiate level support program to help them be as successful as they possibly can in the post-secondary world. The next spoke we talk about is our community-based apartment programs. We have 3 different, very different levels. We have the community living learning program, we have the meaningful day program, and the sales program. Each program is designed to provide individuals the opportunity to develop their adult independent living skills, where they are provided with some support through special education teachers and staff. They are navigating their local community and being able to access community resources such as going to community events, shopping in the community, as well as accessing public transportation systems with support from staff. The next spoke on our wheel is the Travel Assessment Instruction Program. This is a very intense program with a one-on-one special education teacher where they are assessing the individual's ability to access public transportation systems and community travel destinations as independently as possible. The goal of this program is to help an individual to travel to and from a destination safely. The last spoke, in which Jean is going to talk about this more in depth, is our adult services and our connection with the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation and the Office of Intellectual Disabilities. Okay, Jean, you're up.
Hi, I'm Jean Weigo. I'm the Employment Liaison Specialist at the Delaware County Intermediate Unit. We provide services for pre-employment transition services that are authorized from OVR. OVR is the Office of Vocational Rehab. We start these services for students who are under 22 and in a school setting, whether it is a high school setting and they haven't taken their diploma yet, or if they are enrolled in college classes, at least one being part-time. To start the process, you must complete an OVR application, which can be accessed online. Once the application is processed, an OVR counselor reaches out to you and will schedule an intake meeting. You will have an intake meeting with someone from the DCIU, along with the OVR counselor, the student, and any family member that wishes to attend. You will then be set up to access 3 job shadowings or 3 community-based work assessments, which would consist of a real-life work experience, 3 hours at each site that's chosen. The DCIU offers retail, production, cleaning, and dining services, just to mention a few. Once these are completed and set up, the student would be out with an evaluator at each site. There's a report that's written based on strengths, weaknesses, needs, styles of learning, and the actual student has the input as to what they may have liked or disliked. This is to try to narrow down a job goal so the student has some experience and maybe gives a better idea of where they may like to work after they exit high school. So once the report is done, we meet as a team again, we review the findings, and then we would move on to the next step. So one of the next steps could actually be job development, which would be meeting with someone from the IU 2 to 3 times a month, and then interview prep, developing a resume, interview assistance out in the community would also be part of this support. Once you're hired and you have a job out in the community, the DCIU offers job support, or sometimes called job coaching, to ensure success at the job and to build natural supports. The DCIU also offers these support systems through an adult side of OID, the Office of Intellectual Development and Disability, and through the adult side of OVR. So if you start with the DCIU as a student, you can continue all the way through your adulthood. Okay.
If you have any other questions, feel free to contact our supervisor, Sonia Corinth, and we thank you for this opportunity to meet with you.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Saipian. I am the Quality Coordinator for the ARC Alliance Advocacy Services. The following is a brief overview about supports coordination services within the Intellectual Developmental Disability System. Families often ask when someone should register for supports coordination services. Generally speaking, the earlier the better. Typically, it's suggested that some register by age 14, which begins the transition from school to post-graduation. The supports coordinator, or SC, can assist the person and their team to determine what their needs will be after graduation. Even if someone is older than 14, they can still register. A person will most likely be eligible for SC services if they have either an intellectual disability diagnosis with an IQ below 70 or an autism diagnosis with the assessment noting at least 3 areas of need. To register for SC services, contact your county office and request an intake for supports coordination. The ARC Alliance provides SC services for 6 counties, which are listed on the slide, along with their phone numbers. An intake determines if someone qualifies for enrollment in the Intellectual Developmental Disabilities Service System. Once determined eligible for services, you will be provided with a list of all the qualified supports coordination organizations, or SCOs, in your county. Then you choose which SCO you'd like. The ARC Alliance is one option available for supports coordination services, but there are several choices in each county. Individuals can also choose a different SCO at any time, as long as the SCO is willing and able. Supports coordination used to be known as case management, but we don't call it that anymore. It was decided to change the name to supports coordination because those words do a better job of describing what supports coordinators actually do. Very simply put, supports coordinators ensure the people they support are safe, healthy, and have a good quality of life. Although not official advocates, supports coordinators advocate for their individuals above all else. Supports coordinators are the connecting link between an individual registered in the developmental disability system and the services and supports provided by that system. They also provide assistance by navigating other service systems and accessing and organizing natural and generic supports. Other information can include things like applying for food stamps or medical assistance, renewals, or locating community social groups. They can also apply for funding depending on need and help connect them to services. These services can include skill development, employment, transportation, and life-enriching activities, among other things. Supports coordinators provide 3 key functions. The first is locating the services and supports that someone needs. This can include things like day programs, transportation, summer camps, and respite. The supports coordinator also can help coordinate with an individual, their team members, including family and staff, and service providers based upon the individual's needs. The third key function is monitoring the person's health and safety. Also, if someone is receiving paid services, the SC ensures these services are being provided as authorized in their plan. Any issues are documented and followed up accordingly. A waiver is a Medicaid program that pays for needed services for individuals with intellectual disabilities. Unlike school, which is entitlement-based, a waiver is completely needs-based. There is a long waiting list for waiver, so that is why registering for services early is important to help the state government plan for how many individuals need waiver services. Once a person receives a waiver, the SC works with the individual and the family to determine what services are needed. This is completely individualized and is based on what the person needs and their life. Just as people's lives change on an ongoing basis, services can be added and changed as needed as well. Since there is a waiting list for waiver services, not everyone who is an SC has a waiver. The first place to look for support should be natural supports, which can include family members, friends, neighbors, and community resources such as the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, or OVR. You can also contact your local legislator to advocate for funding for the waiting list. You can go to thearcpa.org to get information about your local legislators and helpful information about items to include in your conversation. Even if you don't have a Medicaid waiver, you can still receive supports coordination services. SCs bill for services through medical assistance, just like when someone goes to the doctor, so there is no out-of-pocket cost for this service. If you have any questions or want to discuss your situation, please contact us at 610-265-4700 or email sco@thearcalliance.org. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Craig Anderson, and I work for the Goodwill of Delaware and Delaware County. Thank you on behalf of Goodwill for allowing me to spend a little time to talk about the Step Up program and the services of the Upper Darby Job Resource Center. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, things are a little bit different than in previous years. We had in previous years worked with the students of the Upper Darby High School that had disabilities in a program called Step Up. Step Up is a 10-week program in the classroom and a work-based learning experience in Goodwill's retail store. Participants will learn about the following: workplace expectations and appropriate behavior, communication in the workplace, self-presentation, and retail experience. Students will also participate in activities, assessments, icebreakers, and 4 weeks of retail experience. I'd like to shift gears and talk a little bit now about the services that the Upper Darby Job Resource Center has to offer. Before COVID-19, we were a walk-in facility. Now appointments are necessary, and we are following the safety protocols in place. This includes wearing a mask at all times, social distancing, and cleaning every surface and computer station that is not only cleaned but also disinfected before an individual and after an individual uses them. Some of this help from the staff also includes helping individuals with resumes, mock interviews, job applications, improving soft skills, and digital literacy. Individuals will be working with a coordinator who will be developing an individual employment plan. This is a free service to those who are registered. Registration includes a participant profile and supporting documents. In the participant profile, individuals provide contact information, skills, and what specific services the individuals are looking for. As a registered participant, you will receive access to the center's computers, resources, and hiring events. With COVID now, hiring events are almost exclusively done virtually. We partner with employers who have open positions that closely match our participants' skill levels and industry experiences. One benefit is that the individual has at these events is that you will receive a face-to-face employee hiring manager or HR representative during the interview. The Job Resource Center events are only open to registered participants, giving you an added advantage to shine before an employer. The Job Resource Center coordinator is provided valuable feedback then from the employer on everyone who is interviewed. This information is passed on to the individual who can make the difference on future interviews if they are not selected. We have a saying, it's called digital skills pay the bills. Individuals can supercharge their job search with digital skill classes hosted by Goodwill's Upper Darby Job Resource Center. These classes are offered in hybrid, and individuals can earn certificates in some of the following areas: basic computer skills, Word, Windows, PowerPoint, Internet, using email, and more. Improving one's digital literacy can not only improve one's wages, but can also improve one's individual career opportunities. Bringing good jobs home is what Goodwill has done and what Goodwill will do in the future. And Goodwill has an electronic platform called Career Connection. This is a comprehensive electronic career platform that has tools and guidance for individuals to find their next job fast. They can receive help from the Job Resource Center staff using Career Connection for job searching, building cover letters, resumes, utilizing social media, leveraging their network connections, taking career assessments, and practice interviewing techniques. Goodwill also has Skills to Succeed, which is a free online employment training guide to help job seekers using real-life scenarios. This was created specifically to meet the needs of job seekers. Skills to Succeed Academy offers 36 bite-sized interactive modules. Job seekers will be guided on the entire journey from choosing the right career and finding a job to achieving success in the workplace. The training is interactive and features engaging and relatable characters. It focuses on building the skills and confidence to empower job seekers to take ownership of their job search. Innovative simulations provide a safe environment where learners can practice real-life scenarios such as job interviews and instantly see the impact of their decisions. And finally, individuals, once they're registered with Goodwill, are encouraged to join Goodwill's free virtual job club. This is a job club that's going to be hosted every Thursday at 3 p.m. by the Goodwill Upper Darby Job Resource Center. Individuals will learn social media for their job search, learn digital skills, and get notified about the latest job openings and job sites, and also network with other job seekers.
Hello, my name is Jen Jones, Special Education Coordinator with the Upper Darby School District. I will be reviewing how the OVR, Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, can best support students throughout the transition process. OVR is a government agency which helps those with disabilities prepare for, obtain, or maintain employment. Services are provided directly by OVR staff or through a network of approved vendors. OVR also has an early reach initiative. Early reach coordinators work closely with school personnel and agency staff to help eligible youth with disabilities secure and maintain employment and independence after transitioning from school-age systems. Early Reach Initiative also provides increased awareness of OVR services to our families and students, the role of OVR in the process of transition from school age to adult life, as well as increasing independent living skills. OVR has a varied amount of services available. Please contact your student's case manager for more information on how to apply for OVR services. So who can qualify for OVR? Anyone with a disability, physical or mental, that makes it difficult to gain, sustain employment. These individuals have a need for services to prepare for, enter, engage in, or sustain gainful employment. In closing, we would like to thank you for taking the time to review the information provided within this presentation. If you have any questions regarding the transition process or would like to receive additional information from any of the participating agencies, please contact your student's case manager, Mr. James Nielsen, or myself. Thank you also to the participating presenters. In closing, we will leave you with one final takeaway. School IEP teams and families must begin with the end in mind in order to strategically move in the direction of achieving goals and success as our students transition from school age to adulthood. Thank you.